Hey everyone, welcome back to Peaky Knowledge. Today we're exploring a beautiful and thought-provoking tale called The Nightingale and the
A
Rose.
young student starts weeping for a red rose and he's crying because he does not have red rose in his garden.
No red rose in all my garden.
On what little things does happiness depend?
Here at last is a true lover, night after night.
The prince gives a ball tomorrow night, and my love will be of the company. If I bring her a red rose, she will dance with me till dawn.
If I bring her a red rose, but there is no red rose in my garden.
The nightingale was listening to that little boy and was thinking about how she can help that boy in getting that red rose.
But with me she will not dance, for I have no red rose to give her.
"Why is he weeping?" asked a little green lizard as he ran past him with his tail in the air. "Why, indeed?"
For a red rose, they cried. How very ridiculous! And the little lizard, who was something of a cynic, laughed outright.
"Give me a red rose," Nightingale cried, "and I will sing you my sweetest song." But the tree shook its head.
My roses are yellow as the hair of the mermaid.
But go to my brother who grows beneath the student's window, and perhaps he will give you what you want.
"Give me a red rose," Nightingale cried, "and I will sing you my sweetest song." But the tree shook its head. "My roses are red," the tree answered, "as red as the feet."
But all these red roses are barren now because of the cold and no one can use them.
One red rose is all I want.
"Only one red rose! Is there any way by which I can get it?"
"There is a way," answered the tree, "but it is so terrible that I dare not tell it to you."
"Tell it to me," said the nightingale. "I am not
As
afraid."
Nightingale could not see that young boy in pain.
"If you want a red rose, you must build it out of music by moonlight, and stain it with your own heart's blood."
You must sing to me with your breast against a thorn. All night long you must sing to me, and the thorn must pierce.
The nightingale agreed that she would do it for the young boy because he's a lover and she wants him to fulfill his love. The nightingale agreed to sing for the tree and let that thorn pierce her heart. The young lover or the student was still worried about the red rose and he looked up from the grass and listened to the nightingale, but he could not understand what the nightingale was saying to him because he only knew the things that are written down in books. He could not understand the language or the conversation which was spoken by the nightingale. No one understood the pain of the nightingale, but the oak tree did. And he felt really sad because he was very fond of the little nightingale who had built her nest in his branches. and that nightingale did so much hard work in building her nest, and he is just requesting, or he just whispered to that nightingale, can you please sing a song for me, one last song? I shall feel very lonely when you are gone. That oak tree knows that the nightingale is going, and the nightingale is going to be dead. Therefore, that oak tree is requesting her to sing a song for it. So the nightingale sang to the oak tree too, and her voice was like water bubbling from a silver jar. When she had finished her song, the student got up and pulled a notebook and lead pencil out of his pocket. When the nightingale told him that she will sacrifice her life for a red rose, he thinks that how can she sacrifice her life for me? She can only sing, or she can create melody, or she can only create art. But what is the use of the art? Art is of no use. We can spread that this is the theory of Oscar Wilde. He tries to explain through this short story that art is for nothing. There should be a purpose in anything we produce in our life. After criticizing the nightingale in his thoughts, he went to his room and lay down on his little pallet bed and began to think of his love, and after a time he fell asleep.
And when the moon shone in the heavens, the nightingale flew to the rose tree, and set her breast against the thorn. All night long she sang with her breast against the thorn, and the cold, crystal moon leaned down and listened. All night long she sang, and the thorn went deeper and deeper into her breast, and her lifeblood ebbed away from her.
She sang first of the birth of love in the heart of a boy and a girl, because she wanted both of them to love each other. And on topmost spray of the rose tree there blossomed a marvelous rose, petal followed petal, as song followed song. Pale was it at first as the mist that hangs over the river, morning, and silver as the wings of the dawn, as the shadow of a rose in a mirror of silver, as the shadow of rose in the water pool. So was the rose that blossomed on the topmost spray of the tree. But the tree was crying to the nightingale to press closer against the thorn. She was saying like, press closer, little nightingale, or the day will come before the rose is finished. So the nightingale pressed closer against the thorn, and louder grew her song, for she sang the birth of passion in the soul of a man and a maid. And a delicate flush of pink came into the leaves of the rose, like the flush in the face of the bridegroom when he kisses the lips of the bride. The nightingale pressed closer against the thorn, and the thorn touched her heart, and a fierce pang of pain shot through her. Bitter, bitter was the pain, and wilder grew her song, for she sang of the love that is perfected by death, of the love that dies not in the tomb. But the nightingale's voice grew fainter, and her little wings began to beat, and a film came over her eyes. Fainter and fainter grew her song, and she felt something choking in her heart. Then she gave one last burst of music. The white moon heard it, and she forgot the dawn, and lingered on in the sky. The red rose heard it, and it trembled all over the ecstasy, and opened its petals to the cold morning air. Echo bore it to her purple cavern in the hills, and woke the sleeping shepherds from their dreams. It floated through the reeds of the river, and they carried its message to the sea. Look, look, cried the tree, the rose is finished now. But the nightingale made no answer, for she was lying dead in the long grass with a thorn in her heart. And at noon the student opened his window and looked out. Why, what a wonderful piece of luck, he cried. Here is a red rose. I have never seen any rose like it in all my life. It is so beautiful that I am sure it has a long Latin name. And he leaned down and plucked it. Then he put on his hat and ran up to the professor's house with the rose in his hand. The daughter of the professor was sitting in the doorway winding blue silk on a reel, and her little dog was lying at her feet. The young student said to the girl, You said that you would dance with me if I brought you a red rose, cried the student. Here is the reddest rose in all the world. You will wear it Next night your heart, and as we dance together, it will tell you how I love you. But the girl frowned. I am afraid it will not go with my dress, she answered, and besides, the Chamberlain's nephew has sent me some real jewels, and everybody knows that jewels cost far more than the flowers. Well, upon my word, you are very ungrateful, said the student angrily, and he threw the rose into the street, where it fell into the gutter and cartwheel went over it. Ungrateful? I tell you what, you are very rude. And after all, who are you? Only a student. Why, I don't believe you have even got silver buckles to your shoes as the Chamberlain's nephew has. And she got up from her chair and went into the house. What a silly thing love is, said the student as he walked away. It is not half as useful as logic, for it does not prove anything. And it is always telling one of things that are not going to happen and making one believe things that are not true. In fact, it is quite unpractical, and as in this age to be practical is everything. I shall go back to philosophy and study metaphysics. So he returned to his room and pulled out a great dusty book and began to read.